Alright, so to make this chicken noodle soup, all you need is a chicken. You can get a whole fryer. We raise our own chickens, or did, and this is one of the ones we harvested. So we're going to want to take it out of the wrapper here and wash it real good, and then get your pressure cooker ready, and go from there. Alright, so our chicken's been washed, and we're just going to take the whole thing here, and we're going to squish it down in our pressure cooker. Fits perfect. And what we're going to do is instead of just adding a little bit of water and cooking the chicken, we're going to add a bit more water as well as some seasonings and some vegetables, and we're going to make stock. So not only will we have the chicken meat for our chicken noodle soup, but we'll have the stock right here, and you won't even have to go and buy it. You can make the stock while you cook your chicken. That's what's so wonderful about this. And once I get it all together, I can put the pressure cooker together and I can leave it cook while I go and do my upper body workout. So this is a fantastic thing. It's even quicker than a crock pot, you know, and you just throw it in there and it'll take care of itself. And when we're done working out, we can come back. This will be cooled down by then, and proceed on making our dinner. Alright, so we got our ingredients together. So we're going to get our stock going here while we cook our chicken. You're going to need a little bit of oil. You're going to need a little salt. I'm going to use this Hawaiian black lava salt because I've been dying to try it out. Some bay leaves and some peppercorns. And then all you need is some garlic, carrots, onion, and celery. And when you're making the stock, it's just for nutrients and flavor. So this is an excellent opportunity to go through your crisper and grab some stuff that may be a little past its prime, you know, but isn't rotten. It's just not something you would, like, what are you going to do with this normally, right? Well, this is perfect. So you can utilize this stuff, have it not go to waste, and make some great stock. So also, when you're chopping up your vegetables, all you need to do when you're making stock is just cut the ends off like that, and then just break it up. You don't need to peel. You don't need to peel anything. You just chunk it in there. All right, no need to worry about that. And same thing with your onion. Just gonna cut the roots off like this when we slice it, and we're not gonna bother to peel it. All right, the peel can go right in there, and it will, as it cooks, it will extract more quercetin that way, which is good for your body, good for allergies and things like that, and helps you get nutrients you wouldn't normally get because you're not going to normally eat onion peel. But when you're making stock, it doesn't hurt anything, and in fact, it actually helps. Alright, so we're just going to finish this up here. Break that up. When you're using your pressure cooker, be sure to look at that line. There's a line in there. Don't put anything above that, water or solids otherwise. And there goes our celery. Okay. Alright, garlic you don't have to dice up. I'm just going to cut it in half, get a little bit more surface area for it, and you just throw it in there. It will be assimilated. A little splash of salt, splash of oil, olive oil, a couple of bay leaves. I get generous with the peppercorns. Okay, and then just fill it up with water to the line. No need to fuss this. Very low maintenance. So yeah, we're just throwing in some whole peppercorns and fill it up to the line with water. Alright, so our water's filled up to the line. You can see it right there. Alright, that looks really good. This is going to make some delicious stock. that we can use to make our delicious chicken noodle soup. Real quick here, when you're using a pressure cooker, you probably already know this if you own one, but if you are going out and buying one, you want to make sure that you're safe with this thing. It is a pressurized device, and trapped pressure is very dangerous. So what you want to do is inspect it for damage. There's a little rubber thing here. You want to make sure that that actually can depress. Okay, you want to make sure that this ring is free of damage. You can take it out, remove it, look, make sure it's not damaged in any way. Okay, and there's this little hole right here. You want to hold that up to the light and be able to actually see light through it. Oh, there we go. Alright, if you can't see light through this hole, then your pressure relief valve is obstructed and your pressure cooker will explode. Alright, so real safe. And then you know this little piece just goes on there, and as it's cooking, you want it in the pressure mode. If for some reason things get out of control, you need to release it, or once it's done cooking, boom. Alright, there you go. Okay, we got our lid on, and now we're just going to move it over to the heat. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put this on high heat. Got it going. Alright, it's going to take a little bit because there's a fair amount of water in there, but we're going to bring this up to temperature, and when that happens, this little spot right here, a little metal bit, is going to rise up. You'll be able to see it stick out right there. Boop. And then we'll start building steam. And once we start building steam, then we can reduce the temperature until we have a steady stream of steam coming out of here. Not spurts or hisses, but a steady stream. You'll be able to adjust your temperature. Just look, you want to turn it down, but not too much that your stream of steam disappears. So just adjust it accordingly. So depending on your stove and your pressure cooker, you're going to have to play with it. So read the instruction manual on your pressure cooker and have fun. Don't be intimidated by this. It's safe as long as you use it right. Okay, I work around trapped pressure all the time in my job, and once you understand it and how to deal with it, it's not as dangerous as it sounds. Okay, so we're just going to let this come to temperature. Alright, so my little metal piece popped up. So it's up to temperature. Now it's going to start pressurizing. So we're just going to keep an eye on this little valve here. And it's going to start spurting steam, and then once it gets to a steady stream, then we can adjust the temperature and then set the timer for 35 minutes and go work out. Okay, that is what I would call steady. It's hard to see the steam on the camera, but it's there and you can hear it. It's steady. The flapper is not sputtering or shuddering in any way. So we're going to go ahead and adjust our temperature. And just figure it out. Let's start with medium-high and see how it goes. Alright, so we found our little sweet spot here. You don't want to go too low, you know, then you start losing pressure. You don't want to go too high because then all your liquid will come out as steam. So you just want to keep that constant hiss going, a little bit less heat, and we're going to go ahead and set our timer. 35 minutes. And we'll get a workout in while this cooks. Okay, timer just went off. We're just going to turn the heat off, and we're going to let the pressure come down on its own. Naturally, we're not going to release it. We'll just let it cool off, depressurize slowly. The chicken will continue to cook, and we'll know when it's done. And this is no longer hissing, and this has fallen back into the down position. So just let that do its thing, and we're going to go finish our workout. Alright, so our popper has popped back down. We're going to flip this to the pressure release. Nothing happens. And there we go. Woo! There's our chicken and stock. I'll just let this cool off. And we're going to pull that chicken out and tear it apart. It should be, oh yeah, it's so tender. And we'll go ahead and use this to make our chicken noodle soup. Alright, as you can see, this chicken is just falling apart. I mean, it just fell off the bone. pulling it out is a bit of a struggle because it's so tender. I just used a slotted spoon and a fork and get as much chicken out of there as you can. You know, there's going to be a few pieces here and there that are hard to get to, but what I'm going to do here in a minute is pour this through a colander, saving the liquid and holding out the solids. We're actually like a reverse strain. We're trying to isolate the liquid from the solids, and the vegetables and stuff you can you know, eat if you want, but I mean, I'm going to give them to my dogs. They taste like chicken, so it's good for the dogs. And then I just want to go through here very carefully. It's a bit tedious, but it's not so bad. Just make it a little mindful meditation and go through your chicken. Look for the little bits of bones, because I'm telling you, this chicken was so tender after being cooked in that pressure cooker that you could just take a bone and chew it up and eat it. It's the bones are that soft, and this chicken just fell apart. You know, so little bits of skin here. Dogs are happy. So then you just tear this apart. See, there's a little bone, but look at this bone. Just crush it into a paste. So even if you miss a few pieces, it's not the end of the world. You know, here's a bone, and I can just break it and crunch it. It's so soft. So go through there and get your meat ready for the soup, and then we're going to strain this off in a minute. Alright, so our chicken's all shredded here, and now we're just going to take this stock and pour it through this colander. We're going to save the stock in our soup pot, and then the solids, mush, bone bits, and vegetables, where you can give to the animals, throw away, or you can use them for whatever you want, but I'm just going to feed them to the dogs. Alright. Okay, here we go. We don't want to splash our stock away. But if you can look at that, you see the consistency of that? That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. There's so much good nutrition in making your own stock like this in a pressure cooker. It's got the gelatin in it. It's got the bone marrow. It's got the kind of balanced protein that you really need, because we have a tendency to just eat muscle for protein. And what you really need, you need that bone marrow, you need that gelatin, and you need to diversify and balance out your protein intake like that. And this is some really wholesome, nutritious stock. And it's going to be so good for your body. And your body will thank you. Okay. So you can see there that you're not going to use this for anything. That's just mush. That's why I'm giving it to the dogs. And look at that down there. There's your good stock. That's going to be the base of our soup. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start preparing our soup here. We got our meat. We got our stock. We're going to probably add a little bit more to that. It's commercial stock. And we're going to make chicken noodle soup, KungFood style. Here's our noodles. These noodles, if you can find them, I highly recommend them. It's a Korean style noodle, but it's made 100% from yams. So there's no grain in this. You can, if you're on a paleo diet, this is a fantastic noodle to use, because you can actually have noodles in it. Once you cook them, they end up looking like glass noodles, and they're quite nice. We got some cabbage. We got pre-sliced this time. It was cheap. We got some leeks here. We got some carrots. We got some wakame seaweed, and some shiitake. So this is going to be our chicken noodle soup, KungFood style. We're gonna start by dicing up the carrots and the leeks, adding them to the stock, and begin to simmer that. So we'll be right back. And so just dice up your leek like so. Okay, you want to just use the white and very light green part of the leek, and then cut it into little rings like that. And that's perfect. Alright, so go ahead and peel and dice your carrots as well. We're going to use 6 carrots, 2 leeks. Alright, once we got everything diced up, let's just bring it over here and add it to our stock. Alright, go ahead and bring it to a boil. Once it starts boiling, just reduce the heat and simmer for about 10 minutes. Okay, so we've got a rolling boil now. We're going to reduce the heat to a simmer. Put the lid back on just a little bit. And set our timer for 10 minutes or until the carrots are getting soft. Okay? Alright, so what we got here is our... Go ahead. Our soup is simmering away. Timer's about to go off. So we're at the point where we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. And what I want to do first is add the noodles, because they're kind of stiff. And if you wait until the end to add them, you're going to have a hard time getting them underneath the liquid. So we're going to go ahead and add the noodles first. Alright, so these noodles are quite long. And I like to cut them in half. You don't have to if you don't want to. I just find the middle of the noodles with a chopstick. And then I replace that chopstick with my kitchen shears. And then I just cut them in half. Right over the pot here. Alright, so my noodles are cut. And I'm just going to get them down in the pot there. So you can see how long they are. And alright, noodles are in there. They tend to kind of clump up a little bit, so just stir them around. And I'm going to go ahead and add half this chicken. You got quite a bit of chicken here, so I'm only going to add half of it. Oh yeah. Wonderful. And I got a little bit of leftover chicken here that I'm going to use for tomorrow's lunch. Done with that. Okay, so now I'm just going to add our cabbage. And our shiitakes. I take the shiitakes and I cut them in half because they will grow. I cut them in half, quarter them, whatever, depending on how the size they are. That's almost too big. Break it up a little bit because once they get wet and rehydrated, they will get rather large. If you're using fresh mushrooms, then you won't have that worry. You'll know ahead of time what size they are. Then I'm going to add my wakame. And, you know, this is an acquired taste, but it's something that I believe we as Westerners are really lacking in our diet, and that's sea vegetables. So if you can start with this is a good, you know, gateway recipe for seaweed, because it really blends with the rest of the ingredients and doesn't overpower the dish with the strong sea vegetable flavor. So this is a good way to get sea vegetables in your diet. This is going to be an amazing chicken noodle soup, full of nutrition. This is what you want when you're feeling under the weather, when the weather's gray and cold and dark. This is the stuff that'll pick you back up. It's got everything you need in it and nothing you don't. I'm going to go ahead and put a little red Hawaiian salt in here. Not too much. I'll let the individual eaters salt and pepper their bowls to taste, but we just want to throw a little bit in there. Some peppercorns, some salt, and give it a little stir. Take a look at that. It's thick, and it's supposed to be thick. It's almost like a stew, okay? But it's not chowdery. It's just full of lots of solids in there. I mean, you will not go hungry eating this, and it's so good for you. Can't say that enough. Now that all our ingredients in there, we're gonna put the lid back on it, bring it back to a simmer. We're gonna cook it for 15 minutes, and then dinner's done. Alright, timer just came off. Turn the heat off, and there you are. Soup is done. So if you're making this, you know, to recover from being under the weather or sick, what I like to do is once I put it in my bowl, put some of this on there until the broth turns like a nuclear orange, and that'll fix you right up. So there you have it, chicken noodle soup, KungFood. Thanks for watching.